Hello, everyone. This is Dylan Cotter with RapidMiner. I'd like to welcome you to today's webcast on maximizing lead conversion success using predictive marketing analytics. We're joined by our speakers today from Amblix, a RapidMiner certified partner, Mudasir Hassan, as well as Nikita Naidu, who are data scientists at Amblix. I think we've got a good agenda in store, so I'm going to start off with introduction to RapidMiner for those of you who are new to what we do. And then hand it over to Mudasir, who's going to talk about challenges that customers face in marketing. We'll then talk about processes for how to use machine learning to overcome some of these challenges, in particular focusing on customer acquisition, nurturing customers, and then ultimately converting customers into clients. We'll then hand it over to Nikita, who's going to walk you through some demos so you can see it live in action, and then wrap away with some key points for consideration. So RapidMiner, our core focus as a software company is making software that helps analytics teams be more productive, right? And we do this through an open and extensible platform. Really focusing on, if you think about sort of that life cycle from preparing your data, and that includes, blending data sets, joining data sets, cleansing data sets, to actually applying the machine learning to ultimately deploying models in production. RapidMiner has many of you on this phone are part of the user community, so you'll find the worldwide users who are contributing to this open community to help really drive knowledge and then help each other get more value out of data science. And that innovation, think a lot of you who are on the phone today who help contribute to that. At the end of the day, it's about driving business outcomes. And so predictive analytics and machine learning can be applied for revenue challenges, so to help improve revenue, help obviously save costs, and more importantly, mitigate risk. And these are some of the use cases you'll find where RapidMiner is used. As a data science platform, so again, thank you. The user community, very strong. You'll find universities using RapidMiner. So many of you may have used RapidMiner University, as well as a good client base. What I would encourage you, those of you on the phone, again, who are new to RapidMiner and want to know, what do end users say, or what does the analyst community say, you'll find that Gartner, who covers space, has recognized RapidMiner as a leader for the last 5 years in their Magic Quadrant. Forrester has also recognized RapidMiner as a leader for the last 2 years in predictive analytics and machine learning. So that, reach out to the analyst and converse with them to find out more. You also find a great resource is Katie Nuggets, where RapidMiner is recognized, but also a great resource for just, data science topics in general, for those of you who are learning. And then another source to really find out more is, hey, what are other end users like yourself saying? And so G2 Crowd, you'll find that RapidMiner really strong endorsement, which should give you some confidence that others have tried out the tool and can be used for your data science challenges. Right. So things you'll see today as the team goes through, and that helps sort of differentiate RapidMiner. It's that speed, the stuff that you do over and over from a data science standpoint. That's really what we're focused on. And so things like improving your performance, making it easier to collaborate among analyst teams. Those are some core capabilities. You'll also find the platform is very open. So from a technology ecosystem standpoint, easy to integrate with other technology that you may be invested in, and it's extensible. So if you want to plug in your own machine learning algorithms, if you want to integrate again with other technologies, RapidMiner provides the hooks to make that happen. And again, it's one platform, right? So not having to jump from tool to tool, but really from a data science perspective, being able to cover your prototyping needs, model validation needs, and ultimately putting those in production. So hopefully some of that will come across in today's webcast. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mudasir.
Thank you, Dylan. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining with us today. My name is Mudasir. I work at Amblix as a data scientist, and in this webinar, I'll be talking about the current challenges in the marketing industry, how machine learning and RapidMiner are revolutionizing this area, and also take you through the different concepts of predictive marketing analytics. I am joined by my colleague Nikita here, who will further take you through a case study to help you understand how this is done using RapidMiner. So coming back, there was a recent study done by Dun and Bradstreet for the global marketing teams where they highlighted top three challenges in the current industry. Of the teams who participated, 57% of them say that they are not able to understand their audience. 46% are not able to track the ROI, and after all the marketing efforts, they say just 17% of their leads convert. Right now, there are so many popular marketing automation tools in the market, but still they are not able to fully understand their customer or track ROI even. As a result, a lot of data is gathering around for which we need the big data tools. These challenges can be addressed by developing a predictive marketing analytics solution using RapidMiner as a data science platform, which helps you analyze the data to understand your audience and tackle all other challenges as well. We'll see how this is possible in the next slide. So this is how a customer journey looks like. I've simplified them into three different stages to show how data science can be used to improve the output in each of the stage. In the acquisition phase, data science can help you easily understand your customer and determine channels that are working well. In the nurturing phase, it can prioritize your leads and determine products that are more relatable to your customer. And in the last conversion phase, it can help you reach out to your leads with a discount offer he is highly likely to accept. So we'll deep dive into these concepts and see what they have to offer. The concept of segmentation, a part of acquisition phase, slices and dices your audience to simplify your understanding of the customer base. For instance, if we take the image on your screen as an example for a mobile phone company, we can understand that there are three basic personas in their audience. The first one is the business user, and the second persona is the casual user who maybe uses the phone for the sake of it, and the third one is the power user who uses the entire features of the phone. So this way, the mobile phone company will know who their audience is, and they can reach out to them in a very personalized way, and also chart their marketing strategies. Channel attribution, also a part of acquisition phase, gives you an all-round perspective of your customer journey. It essentially tells you what channels are working well and give you an idea of where a buy decision is being made in the customer journey. In the nurturing phase, lead scoring is a methodology that helps you cherry pick the top quality leads by assigning a score to each profile through its learning on their past behavior. This way, you will be investing your time efficiently with leads that are highly likely to convert. Moving on, product affinity, also a part of nurturing phase, gives you an insight on what products are closely relatable to your customer. It gives you an outside perspective of what products can be bundled together for sale, hence helping you chart new and intelligent product strategies. Discount recommendation, the concept comes in the last phase of the customer journey. It is that last chip you need to push a customer to an end line. The fundamental idea here is to furnish a discount, which is a monetary profit to both customer and the vendor. So now my Nikita will take us through a use case from one of our clients who was looking to improve their marketing efforts and also improve their customer journey. She will take us through all of these concepts and also show how the insights from each of them helped our client in every phase of the customer journey. So over to you, Nikita.
Thank you for the introduction, Mudassir. Hi all, this is Nikita and I work as a lead data scientist with Analytics, and I'll be taking you through one of the use cases which is based on one of our clients who's an educational consultant based out of UK. And they provide comprehensive educational services to international students to prepare them for graduate and undergraduate programs in the UK. Their main business objective was to maximize lead conversion rate and minimize sales and marketing cost. And one of the biggest challenge for this client was in prioritizing their lead pipeline. They had a very huge number of leads coming into the system, sometimes as high as thousands of global leads on per day basis in the peak season. And it had become nearly impossible for the recruiting agents to reach out to all the leads in the system. They experienced very low lead conversion rate. But they also had to understand what kind of products or discount incentives should be offered to these leads. So we followed a consultative approach. We first understood their business model and business processes. We broke the problem into multiple stages corresponding to the stages of the sales funnel. We identified the problem areas which required enhancements or improvements and came up with the use case which would have direct impact in the lead conversion and marketing and sales cost. So let's deep dive into these use cases. This is the solution architecture, and the client basically got leads from two distinctive channels, online mode and offline mode. Online mode is through the digital channels and offline mode is through third-party recruiting agents. They used Marketer as their marketing automation tool, and all the marketing and nurturing campaigns were created and run through Marketer. Lead activities were captured in Marketer. Activities like email sent, email opened, resources downloaded, web page visits, etc. were recorded in Marketer. This was a very useful information which we use for understanding the lead behavior. Further, they use Salesforce as their CRM tool to run their sales and lead engagement related business processes. We use RapidMiner Studio and RapidMiner Server to create and deploy machine learning models onto the client system. RapidMiner read data from Marketo, Salesforce data warehouse, and it runs machine learning models. Some of the models, like lead scoring, runs on a daily basis through cron schedulers. Further, we use Tableau to summarize business insights and create informative dashboards and reports, which were used by recruiters, stakeholders, and management. So let's take a look at the data flow. So the client gets records from two different sources. Leads come through digital channel and third-party recruiting agencies. So data related to demographics, academics, lead activities, etc., is captured in the CRM tool. A dump of that is taken into data warehouse. This data is not clean because the forms are hosted on multiple platforms, and some of the forms are not even in English language. So this data was not fit for modeling. We had to do data preparation to make the data fit for modeling and reporting. To give you a stats on the size of the data, we used 2 years of historic data for modeling, and it had around 500,000 lead profiles with 150 million line items of the lead activity. We had to aggregate these lead activity data and create a summarized summary for each of the leads based on the activities they have performed throughout their journey. And this data was spread across 60 odd tables with thousands of attributes, and it was not consistent. So we had to clean that up and create a consistent model, which was saved again in data warehouse with our customized schema. So this whole data preparation step has taken 189 days. We had 3 data scientists working full-time on this project, and it's taken 60 days to do the data preparation step. So let's take a look at the use cases one by one. We started with segmentation first because it was important for us to understand the lead personas or what kind of lead profiles are present in system, and if there is any pattern where most of the leads, is there any profile where most of the leads are converting, or any other profile where the leads are not converting. So we used k-means for k-means distance-based clustering algorithm for creating the clusters, and we used within sum of squares distance metric to find out the optimal size of the cluster, and we found that 5 is the optimal number of clusters. And we have used lead activity data and lead demographics data for segmentation. So let's take a look at the RapidMiner process. So this is the data used for segmentation, and each row represents a record for each lead activity, and you can see that we have summarized activities performed by the leads across different activity types throughout their journey. Some of the attributes are coming from lead activity data, and some of the attributes are derived by us. That is, like some attributes like age in the funnel, recency weeks, frequency weeks, breadth of touch point, etc. Breadth of touch points here represents how many different channels does the lead use in order to interact with the client. So let's take a look at the process. So this is the RapidMiner process for lead segmentation, and I just run this process to show you the results. So we are using a cluster model visualizer to summarize the clusters. You're reading the data and selecting attributes using PCA, which explains 80% of the, only those attributes which explain 80% of the variance in the data, normalizing it, supplying it to the clustering algorithm, and using cluster model visualizer. So let's take a look at the results. Here are those 5 clusters, with cluster 0 being of the smallest size and cluster 3 being of the largest size. We can actually take a look at the centroid table to understand the characteristics of each of the cluster. And this basically creates the center of each of the cluster based on those attributes which we have supplied. And we can further use the model visualizer to actually summarize each of the clusters. So let's take a look at the presentation as to how we have summarized the clusters and what were the different personas found. So these are those 5 clusters, with the first cluster being named as highly interactive and inbound based on the observations. This cluster was very responsive and also proactive in asking questions or responding to the emails, and there was a high conversion ratio was observed with a conversion ratio of 3.9%. The last 2 clusters are named as pretends to be involved in minimal interaction because their response rate was low and the conversion rate is also low, that's 0.5. So we used the cluster model to cluster a new lead coming to the system and tag them according to the behavior, classify into one of these categories. And this was very useful for the agent to understand the behavior of the lead and understand how they should be engaged in the future or what could be expected of them. So let's move to the next use case, which is channel attribution. So once when the lead and there were like leads coming from multiple channels, and it was important for the client to understand which of the channels are performing better or where are the best quality of leads coming from, and what is the effect of one channel over the other. So we have used Markov chains, which is a concept of simulation. Basically, we removed one channel at a time from the system and studied the effect of that channel over lead conversion or over the lead conversion of other channels. And let's take a look at the data first. Okay. Okay, so this is the data, and we had to arrange the data to create a lead journey or lead path, or the different channels that the lead has touched during its journey. And you can see this is the lead ID, that is the first lead. And this is arranged in ascending order of the lead activity, which this is the different channel that the lead has touched. And let's take a look at the design of the process. And okay, I'll just run this thing. So basically the output of this is 3 different result set. The first result set explains the removal effect, that is when a channel is removed from the system, what is the effect on the lead conversion. And the first column here is the channel. We have 11 different channels. This summarizes the effect, sorting it based on the removal effect. You can see channel number 1 has the highest removal effect. That means if channel number 1 is removed from the system, it would affect 91% of the leads, followed by channel 2, which would affect 66% of the leads, and so on. The other one is to understand when does the channel appear in the lead journey, whether the channel appears as the first touch point, or whether it appears in the middle of the journey, or whether it appears at the last touch point. Last touch point is just before the conversion. So every channel is given a value based on where it appears in the lead journey. So channel number 1, it mostly appears everywhere. It looks like that appears. Yeah. So each and every channel has a value. And across these different variables, as first touch, last touch, and linear touch. Let's take a look at the results. I'll just go back to the presentation, and we can see the results there. So you can see on x-axis we have different channels. It is channel number 1 to channel number 9, and on the y-axis we have the count of count of leads which have appeared, where this channel has appeared as first touch point, as a last touch point, and as a linear touch point, and each of the color here represents its type. You can see the channel number 2 is very popular, and it kind of appears everywhere in the lead journey. And channel number 1 here actually appears most of the time as a last touch conversion. So channel number 1 looks like it's very important because it's the channel which could have influenced the decision of the lead. So when we study the removal effect, the channel number 1 has scored the highest, and here it means that if channel number 1 is removed, it would affect 94% of the leads, followed by channel number 2, which would affect 65% of the leads. And to do this, we have used only those leads which have converted in the past, and this was very useful in understanding the behavior of the lead coming from different channels, or the importance of the channel. And further, we have also studied a transition matrix, created transition matrix to study the effect of one channel over the other. This is basically a correlation type matrix. And for example, if you look at channel number 7, it is 0.8. The correlation between channel 7 and channel number 10 is 0.85. That means 85% of the leads who come to channel 7 would transition to channel number 10. So this kind of study was very important to understand the effect of one channel over the other, and if it is removed from the system, how it would affect the other channel. Okay, so let's move forward to our next use case, which is lead scoring. And this was one of the most important use case because, like I mentioned before, there were many leads coming into the system, and it had been important for the client to quantify the leads based on the probability of the lead converting and categorize the leads into ABC priority, or based on ABC priority, with A being of the highest priority and C being of the lowest priority. And we have scored each and every lead on a scale of 0 to 100 and categorized them as a high, low, or mid priority, or ABC. And we have used logistic regression for classification. We obviously had a class imbalance issue because lead conversion rate was very less, and we have used smoothing to boost up the minority class. We had a lot of features in the system, so we have used Gini index for feature selection and selected top n number of features, which explains 80% of the variance in the data. So let's take a look at the process. Okay, so this data was used for lead scoring, and we have used lead demographics data, lead academic data, lead activity data for scoring, and we had 72 regular attributes, so there was a need to do feature selection. And let's take a look at the design RapidMiner process. And run this one because it takes time. So we have filtered out those leads which are of spam or fraud nature, and taken only important leads for modeling. That is the leads which have converted in the past, or the leads which have not converted in the past, and which have a good amount of data. And I just go inside here to show you how we have done feature selection. And here we have done feature selection to select only top 14 features based on their importance. And we have used GLM for training the model. So let's take a look at the results. It's going to take some time. I already have the results. Okay, here. Great. So the output of this is a score on a scale of 0 to 100 against each lead. And this explains the probability of the lead converting. This score is correlated to it's correlated to the applications who have converted in the past. So those kind of profiles which have converted in the past would get a higher score, plus the leads which are active in the system would get a higher score. So someone which is having a good profile but are not moving in the system, or stale and not moving further in the process, will be given lower score. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay. So against each and every lead, we provide a score of 0 to 100, and this is coming from Tableau. You can see that the lead, you can see two scores here. You can see lead score and application scores. Application score is score based on the affinity of the lead, product affinity of the lead, and I'll explain that in the next section. And you can see that this lead, first lead, has a lead score of 65, and the second lead has a lead score of 72. And the score is correlated to the status, live status of the lead, whether it's open, engaged, for outreach, or fraud, or etc. And also the stage of the lead as to in which stage it is, whether it's in the known stage or whether it's marketing qualified lead or whether it's a sales qualified lead. This was very important for the agents to understand the, to prioritize their lead and to understand whether the lead would be converting or not and how much time should be given to the lead. Let's go forward. And once the agent understands how to prioritize their lead, they also wanted to understand with what kind of products should be offered to these leads to ensure conversion. And in order to do that, we have used descriptive statistics to understand what kind of profiles have affinity to what kind of product. And we have created this correlation table in Tableau. And you can see that program number 1, that is computer science. Here on the x-axis, you have different programs, that is different products. And here you see different, you see the count of leads who have opted for this program. And the 3 colors here represents the category of the lead, with green being the highest quality lead, blue being mid quality, and orange being the least quality lead. And program number 1, that is computer science, is highly trending because most of the leads coming into the system are opting for computer science program as studied in the past, followed by mechanical engineering and so on. And we have supplemented this result with a score on the acquisition route, that is from where these leads are coming. And you can see that social media is the top 1 channel from where most of the leads are coming, but the quality of the leads coming from the channel is of mixed nature, with 50% having falling in the B category and 50% falling in the C category. Further, we give a score on a scale of 0 to 100 against each and every application. And there are 2 leads here, for example, lead second donor. You can see that they have these 2 applications have the same lead score because it's essentially for the same person, but they have different application score, which is basically a product affinity score that is of 28 and 19. And they are owned by 2 different agents, that is Alex and Alicia. And by looking at the application score, we can say that Alex has a higher chance of closing the lead donor compared to Alicia. Okay. So the next use case is discount recommendation. And there was a need for the agents to understand how much discount should be offered to the lead in order to close the deal. And not all leads require discounts. Certain profiles of the lead were price sensitive, who were looking for offers and incentive, but certain profiles were definitely not looking for price, but they were looking for other things like the rank of the university, etc. And in order to determine what is the optimal amount of discount that should be offered to the lead, we have used descriptive analysis by studying what has happened in the past and what amount of discount has resulted into what percentage of conversion. So let me take you to the results. This is coming from Tableau, and we have here I'm comparing 2 regions, that is China and South Asia. And on the x-axis here, you see different programs. That is program number 1 to program number 5, which is compared across China and South Asia. And these 3 different segments represents the quality of the lead or the priority of the lead, high, medium, and low. And the color bins here represent the range of discount offered in the past. Dark blue represents no discount, light blue represents less than 5K, dark orange represents between 5K to 10K, and light orange represents more than 10K. And clearly it is visible here that China is less price sensitive over South Asia. And most of the leads have converted without discounts, but program number 3 and program number 4 in South Asia region have enjoyed certain amount of discount. And so this kind of tells the agents as to which program should be offered, what amount of discount which is related to, which is correlated with the region. And this has helped them optimize the sales cost. This study was very important for the client to understand which kind of programs should, requires what kind of offers and incentives in order to promote their sales. And these were the 5 use cases, but there are many other use cases which are there under predictive marketing analysis. And Mudassir will take you through the key takeaways and other use cases which are feasible. And over to you, Mudassir. Thank you very much.
So that was great. Thank you, Nikita, for taking us through the use cases and explaining the insights derived from each of them. We've seen how predictive marketing analytics can be an essential piece of marketing journey. The insights through PMA can expedite your efforts in winning a customer. But that is just one half of the battle. Keeping them engaged and ultimately retaining them is the real long-term success. Our team at Analytics have created this long-term success story for organizations across the globe. Our PMA solution has practically simplified their marketing efforts, and their goal of delighting their customers with their personalized service is now simpler to achieve than ever. Based out of Texas, we are in business since 2004 and served over 300 customers. Our services are not just limited to predictive marketing. We are, in fact, a brand under which more than 400 technology professionals, data analysts, and scientists throughout the globe collaborate to help our clients navigate the digital transformation. All this by leveraging our advanced analytics, big data, and AI-based automation to ease their everyday process. The credit, of course, also goes to our partner RapidMiner and its product's potential to build clean and interpretable code that helps the data science team design a solution that has a decreased time to market, which I believe is the most appealing feature for any client. So thank you again for joining with us today. Please feel free to get in touch with us to know more about Amblix and the services and products we offer. Thank you.